Hello. Before we start today's episode, if you would like a condensed version of what I'm talking about in this podcast, go ahead and subscribe to the Perfectionist Guide. You can read the entire thing in 3 minutes or less. To access this, go to CourtneyLoveGavin.com/newsletter. Are you a bit of a perfectionist? Type A, hyper performer? Then you know
what it is like when your perfectionism is a constant god-awful companion.
But it doesn't have to be. If you are ready to burn bright instead of burning out, to lead without losing yourself, and to enjoy the life you have worked so hard to create, then keep listening. I'm your host, America's leader on rewiring perfectionism, CLG, and this is Perfectionism Rewired, the podcast. Welcome to Perfectionism Rewired. If you're just meeting me, I am CLG, Courtney Love Gavin. I help you rewire your perfectionism and take ownership of your perfectionistic tendencies instead of feeling like they are owning you. Every week, I give you the absolute most simple, most clear, doable steps to rewire your perfectionism. Because yes, it really can be simple. Us high achievers, type A's, we just tend to overcomplicate everything. Perfectionism can be really simple. It does not have to be complicated. I'm going to make it outrageously easy for your brain to adopt the ideas, what it means to care or to carry. You're going to be like, oh, that makes so much sense. I suspect most of you don't want to be carrying. Let's lighten your load. Most of us were mistakenly taught to care means to bear someone else's burden, to absorb their feelings. So like, if they're sad, then I'm sad. So that way they can see I'm right there with you. Rescuing people from their pain, save them, or fixing their personality. But that is not what it means to care. The definition is displaying kindness and concern for others. Just because someone might not be rising to their own capabilities doesn't mean that you showing care is carrying the load for them. Can you feel the weight of carrying? When you are carrying, you are supporting the weight of someone else's or something else's foundation. You are making yourself unstable and therefore unsafe. Care gives us a sense of purpose and it feels spacious in your body. When you're carrying, it leaves us feeling overwhelmed and heavy and exhausted. And a lot of the times we grow to resent the people who we care about because we are carrying too much for them rather than allowing them to carry it for themselves. Anytime that you feel resentment or you notice that there's this heaviness with you and you're like, oh, I'm exhausted, that's like a aha moment. Ask yourself, what could I allow them to carry? As parents, we always want to be seen and constantly adjusting. Okay, what else can I give my children the gift of carrying for themselves? The way that you treat a 6-month-old and the carrying that you're doing for them is very different than a 6-year-old. Components of care. You're doing it because you want to. It's a genuine want, and you are choosing to. You are present. Present is really important. If you're not able to be present with someone and you're thinking, oh my God, when will they stop talking? You're carrying for them. That is not what it means to care. Carrying is when you are taking the responsibility for the entire outcome onto your shoulders. In the beginning, when I started coaching, when someone would inquire to work with vintage CLG, which wasn't happening every day like it is now, when that would happen, I was really excited. And I would care a lot about this person, especially when they reached out to me and telling me about all of the struggle and the strife that is happening in their life. But This is where it crosses over to the red zone of carrying. So I reply to them and I'm constantly checking my email. They haven't gotten back to me. What's going on? I don't have it anymore, but at the time it was a carryover from PR. I had this thing that would like show me whether someone read my email or not. I'm like, they saw it 3 times and they haven't responded. So that is carrying. In that situation, I wasn't carrying the weight for that person, but I was carrying the weight of that experience. And then what would happen is I would go back, I would reread the email and I would think, oh, I shouldn't have said that. That example of vintage CLG and the person inquiring about working with me, I was taking responsibility for the entire outcome of whether or not we work together on my shoulders. I bet a lot of you are doing that with situations at work or at home or anything that involves a component other than it's entirely on you. What's so interesting and what you'll find is we are carrying too much for other people. And what's actually happening is that you're not carrying the load for yourself. If you think about a baby, if you were to carry them for their entire lives, you'd break your back. They would never learn how to walk. If you have kids that are in school, do you do their homework for them? Do you take their tests for them? No, why not? Because then they'd never learn. They'd never get those skills. It's the same thing here. To care is not being a rescue ranger and swooping in to save someone from a problem. Doing that robs everyone from the opportunity to feel the necessary uncomfy that is required for their learning and growth. Often when you have perfectionistic tendencies, we did this to ourselves by never letting ourselves fail. I think that's a lot of us when we have this drive and we have a lot of talents in certain areas and we're told to gravitate towards them, we rob ourselves from the learning and growth. When you let people experience uncomfy, they get the opportunity to consciously choose better choices, repeatedly trying to rescue someone from their uncomfy feelings, including yourself, prevents the progression towards acceptance, emotional intelligence, healthy coping, self-trust that are key to being a fully functioning, vibrant human. A key distinction is that when you care about someone, it means that you are going to give them the full and complete exploration of their own thoughts, feelings, and behaviors without the intent to end the process quickly, simply because you can't tolerate other people's pain. Like you just feel so uncomfortable that your kid is upset with you, that you give in to them. Quick rundown. What does it mean to care? That you are led by agreements. Some people might call these boundaries, but when you think about the word boundary, I think it sort of does an oppositional type thing of like, you can't get into my castle. The word agreement, I find, is a lot more nurturing and inviting to be like, oh, we're in agreement with each other. This is the agreement I have with myself versus like, that's a boundary, don't cross it. When you care, you are in charge. You are giving others self-sovereignty. You are treating them like competent adults. When you care, you are empathetic about what's going on in someone's life, but it's not dragging you down. When you care about something, it's empowering and it's invigorating. This is how you know you are carrying. You believe that you are fully responsible for this. It's all on my shoulders. I need to make this happen. If I don't do this, no one else will. You might tell yourself that, but all that's doing is putting you in a martyr and it's putting you in the victim triangle. You feel weighed down, and it's not always by other people's problems. Sometimes you feel weighed down for the vacation that you're planning. Sometimes you feel weighed down about hosting Christmas. Those are just all clues that like, oh, I am carrying here. What bricks can I take out of my backpack? There are a lot of dependencies when you're carrying. You will think that things need to be done in a very specific order, in a very specific way. You will be attached. It's like, oh, I need this person to get back to me. I need to get the perfect gift. Also, habitual rescue. You being a rescue ranger on the reg, that codes in long-term insecurity and unhealthy dependency in relationships. Whenever you jump in, when you are carrying, what it does at an unconscious level, the message that you are sending is that they are helpless, incompetent, and cannot do things on their own, and that dealing with their own feelings is not their responsibility. As a clinician and coach, if I did that, I would be terrible. I would fire myself. Because think about that. I would be telling you, you can't do this. You can't possibly do this. Oh my gosh, here, tell me, let me take this to care means, hey, I'm here for you if you want it. And if you don't, that's totally okay. There's no attachment. It feels clean. Caring is need. To care is to want. Can you feel the difference between to care and caring? And if you want help with any of this, come and work with me, Perfectionism Rewired Accelerator and Perfectionism Optimized. They are the most comprehensive one-on-one coaching out on the market to actually wake up every day with energy so that you can show up differently in every area of your life. You're more confident at work, you're the best parent that you can be for your kids, and you just feel more exuberant and peaceful in general. You can go to CourtneyLoveGavin.com/services. I will also put a link in the show notes. Here are some very, very practical ways that you can put into practice now. When you ask someone if they are upset with you, they say no, and they're acting cold, trust their answer. Take things at face value. Another way that you carry less is to honor your own agreements. This is where deciding ahead of time is key. Decide what conversations are you available for and how much energy are you willing to spend. Decide this is when I'm available for work. And that includes the actual work that you're doing and thinking about work. And if you notice you're giving your kids a bath and you're like thinking about something that happened at work, that's when you want to interrupt and redirect your mind. If it's going there off the clock. A great way for you to do this that's really easy is to predetermine set times that you are going to check your email and your text messages, your inboxes. Decide that your response rate has nothing to do with the amount that you care. I'm a caring person. I don't need to prove that with my response time. If someone thinks that I don't care, I trust that fully capable human adult, that they will tell me. If you have a tendency to overcommit yourself, you can set a new agreement for yourself that says, I don't say yes to anything in the moment. Have some key responses in your back pocket that you can use. And if you want help developing these, we can workshop it together in session. With the Perfectionism Rewired Accelerator, my 6-week jumpstart, where I help you lay the foundation to quit fighting against your perfectionism in the simplest, most doable way for where you are right now in your life. You get my individualized attention and coaching custom to your own perfectionistic tendencies. Once you reset and rewire your perfectionism, everything you learn after is compounding results because your perfectionism is working with you. You are able to leverage it for the rest of your life. Another way that you carry less is stop trying to control how other people feel or what they do. We don't do this maliciously, but you want to check yourself before you wreck yourself. For example, if you're planning Thanksgiving and you're like, I just need to make sure everyone has a really good holiday. Okay, stop. I'm doing that thing I used to do where I think that I can control how other people feel. But now I know that that isn't true. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that I'm feeling good because I know that I am the energetic leader of my environment. Some IRL examples. You can care that your sister is having a conflict with your brother without inserting yourself into the situation. You can care that your child is very upset about what you're making for dinner while remaining clear that your decision was the right one for your family. You can care about your sister and her perception that you don't visit her enough without doubting your intentionality and how you choose to invest your energy, time, and resources. You can care that a colleague heard an email in a way that you didn't intend and still 100% trust that you are a skilled communicator. To care all boils down to the best work of self-differentiation. This is where I begin and this is where you end. It's how you let go of other people's expectations while remaining connected. This is what is so transformative for clients when they embark on this work with me. Over and over again, I hear them say, oh my gosh, I'm suddenly no longer afraid of backsliding all the progress that I've made with my perfectionism because I no longer believe that I have to be perfect 100% of the time. That is a sign that you are changing your perfectionism from the inside out. When you know that no matter what happens, you're going to be curious and you are willing to learn and grow from the experience. I have helped people who are 73 years old, people who have half-century long habits and are in A-list celebrity careers where perfectionism is demanded of them. People who believed that nothing would work because they had tried everything and failed. And they found the solution by discovering that the only problem that they had this entire time is that they were believing that their perfectionism was wrong and that they were doing this from an outside in approach instead of the inside out. It was possible for them and it is possible for you too. If you want those skills and you want to see all the wonderful ways that I can help you, go to CourtneyLoveGavin.com/services. And so your action step is simple. Look at what's on your plate currently and ask yourself, how much of it are you carrying on your shoulders versus how much of it do you care deeply about? Anything that you care deeply about, we want to put down those bricks. That is going to reveal what needs to change if you want to take control and rewire your perfectionism. Are you tired of being in a robotic relationship with success, with zero meaning or joy during the process, where your victories feel anticlimactic? If you're nodding your head yes, listen up. Taking charge of your perfectionism is so much easier than you have been led to believe. Whether you want to stop playing out worst case scenarios in your head or be joyfully present ambitious again, you don't need more rigid rules, guesswork, or hard work in perfectionism recovery. You need a framework that helps you understand and, most importantly, rewire your perfectionistic habits from the inside out. It starts with my 6-week Perfectionism Rewired Accelerator. Besides the obvious mental health and wellness benefits, rewiring your perfectionism is the fastest way to figure out what's really underneath your perfectionistic patterns. This radically different, proven, proprietary approach helps you succeed by dropping the contempt and judgment that blocks change. Discover how to trust yourself, take control of your world, and feel truly empowered to own your perfectionism instead of being owned by it. Head on over to CourtneyLoveGavin.com/accelerator and start your transformation today.